It's just one goal. One goal.
Come on, guys!
We've worked too long and hard for this.
You've only been here a few days.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 sports comedy Next Goal Wins. The film is co-written and directed by Taika Waititi and it stars Michael Fassbender. We also have Will Arnett, Elizabeth Moss and Taika Waititi as well, who's in the film. Right, this film focuses on the real life terrible soccer team in American Samoa who in 2001 became famous for losing a FIFA ranked match 31-0 to Australia, I believe. So they were basically the worst team in the world for a long, long time. And it tells a true story of Michael Fassbender's character, Thomas Rongan, who gets sacked in the US, and the only option he's got is to go to American Samoa and manage this terrible football team. He goes over there under duress, and once he gets there, he finds that indeed they are very, very terrible, but he also has a real connection with them and works with the team hard to try and get them ready for their next World Cup qualifying game in a month's time after he arrives on the island. Does he get them ready in time for their big match? Well, you'll have to watch it, obviously, to find that out for yourselves. Right, what are my thoughts on Next Goal Wins? Well, this follows a very familiar pattern to, sports comedies or even sports dramas to a large degree, you know what I mean? The underdog story. I mean, we've been following that blueprint in these, sports films for many, many decades, and it's always a winning formula. You get that blueprint of the initial challenge, and then everything's going wrong and nothing's going right. You get the training montage, you get the bonding, and then you get the big game or fight or, event at the end, sporting event at the end of the movie, and it's quite uplifting and all this kind of stuff. And this film follows that blueprint beautifully. It does actually help that this is based on a real football team and a real event. I mean, the events in this film, I'm sure they took some liberties, Taika Waititi, but from most of the stuff that I researched, it all turned out to be true. For example, there's a transgender player on the American Samoa team. And this, I think, when Michael Fassbender's character, Thomas Rongan, turned up on the island to manage the team, it was 2011, I think, and their 31-0 loss was in 2001. So it's like 10 years later, this is set in 2011. And I'm thinking, an American Samoa with a transgender player, is that right? Not that I have an issue with transgender players, I just thought, some producer or somebody somewhere tried to, force a transgender person into this film, but no, absolutely true. There was a transgender player on the football team who is now an ambassador, I think, for football over on that continent. The Michael Fassbender character is absolutely real, and for me, that made the film even more magical. Now, you've got obviously Taika Waititi, who is in control, writing and directing this film. We know that he's hugely talented with these kind of quirky comedy sort of thing, and he absolutely nails this, I have to say. It's a really charming, entertaining, and heartwarming film to watch. And the very core of that, well, there's a few performances that I think are wonderful. I do want to mention Michael Fassbender first. Let's be honest, when you think of casting someone in a comedy like this, Michael Fassbender is not the first name probably at the top of your list. He certainly wouldn't be mine. I mean, I've just literally watched him in the Hitman film on Netflix. A really intense performance by him. And he is, a very talented actor. I can't recall seeing him in many comedies, though. So imagine how silly I felt to some degree that the performance he delivers here in this film is pitch perfect. It's It's reserved, it's charming, it's funny, it's everything you would want it to be, but it's not pantomime in any way. There's nothing in this film pantomime. You know, all the jokes and everything like that are all, you know, they're funny. You know, they make you giggle, they make you smile, they make you feel good. But there's no pantomime stuff going on in this film. It's all very, you know, cleverly written in that sense. And Michael Fassbender is right at the core of that. His story in this film. There's also, as well, I want to mention, I think it's Oscar Kitely, he's called, who kind of plays. He's like the guy that runs the American Samoa team. He's in charge of it, if you like, the president, whatever you want to call it. But he's got about 2 or 3 other jobs on this island, this American Samoa island. And he almost steals this film from everybody. It's a brilliant comedic performance by him, but at the very core of that as well is a really, really charming character that you can't help but fall in love with. It's a brilliant character, fabulously written. And I'm sure, like you say, many of these people, because his character is a real life person, I would imagine most of the characters that we meet in this film are based on real life people. I think, obviously, Taika's taken a little bit of liberty with, you know, maybe making some of their personalities a little bit more comedic. Of course he has. He's trying to make this palatable. You know, if you just made a straight drama, then it probably wouldn't be anywhere near as interesting. I can't lie, I have found this film incredibly gripping and entertaining, both at the same time, and very, very funny at times too. It had me glued to the screen throughout. I really cared about these characters. I really wanted to see how they got on, because I didn't know about this story, and I'm a football fan. I didn't know about this story. I didn't know, you know, how this team went on and what they went to do or anything like that. And don't get me wrong, as far as I'm aware, they've never made it to a World Cup, and as far as I'm aware, they've not really done a very great deal at all. But from being like the worst rated team in the world for many, many years to kind of the story that we get in this film, I think it's really, really good. So if you like these kind of uplifting sports dramas, a little bit of comedy thrown in there. Honestly, guys, if you're looking for something to make you smile, make you feel good, you like an underdog story, you're going to enjoy this one. It's a lot of fun, and I had a great, great time watching it. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.